Crypto Market Analytics, welcome back. You're looking at the Ethereum. It's time to revisit the situation on the Ethereum. Just a few days ago, I left the Ethereum when price was just bouncing back up after taking the previous local lows. And here we're talking about this really local trading range that we've witnessed beginning to develop around the beginning of April, right? And when price had such a nice reaction here, touching base on the bottom support, which is, by the way, a pretty strong, pretty important cluster, the combination of two different key levels, one on top of the other, around 147.43. Also, the 200-day moving average was involved here. We've seen that touchdown. Price was slicing both of these technical elements, but bouncing back up and beginning to turn around. That's pretty much where I pulled the trigger and establish a bullish position. And I did mention that I'm going to address this one from a short-term perspective because the blue system here that we're trying to play out is actually representing the short-term cycle. So I was mostly focused on this particular key level as primary price target, 173.14. Right? As we get closer, we're closing in on that price target pretty rapidly. I'm pretty sure we're going to hit that level probably today or tomorrow. The question is, at this point, what's the next step, right? Because I did say that I'm probably going to pull out with most of my position, if not all of it, at 173.14. Maybe we'll try to drag it further to 176.19, the one, the next imminent resistance. But to be honest, I feel that at this point, price may actually ditch the short-term cycle and merge with the medium to long-term cycle, which would mean a breakout, right? Price will resume the original move, which is obviously an upside trend. Price is coming from below. I should also mention the fact that if price can break above 176.19, let me show you what happened here. I mean, from a weekly perspective, it looks pretty clear. We did have some problems breaking above 176.19. We've seen the attempts, actually 4 of them consecutively. Take a look. This was the first one. This was the second. Just make sure to see that price in every single attempt here ended up closing right below 176.19. So at some point it began to move more to the downside, but it was actually part of this sideways movement, right? And right now price is coming back up. So it's going to have to deal again with these same two pretty strong resistance levels. So if price can be resilient enough to break through, that's going to be very interesting. At that point, we will have to reassess the whole analysis because we're going to try to chase price in a much larger scale with a much more ambitious price target. At that point, I would actually expect price to move at least to the 23.6% of the whole downside trend, the whole bear market from top to bottom. 23.6% will probably place you roughly around the levels of 400. So as you can see, we have a lot of potential on the upside. We're still trading very low, even though it is kind of a breath fresh of air to see the Ethereum moving upwards in the last few weeks, along with the rest of the market. All right, so that's pretty much the situation right now with the Ethereum. Short-term cycle, strong bullish outlook. Long-term cycle, still in question. We'll definitely come back to keep you posted. We'll see you in the next video.